The Dark Knight is Christopher Nolan's second in his critically acclaimed Dark Knight trilogy. But what makes The Dark Knight important? It is no doubt that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Bryan Singer's X-Men brought the comic book movies back to life after the disappointing strings of 90s comic book movies.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
But when audiences talk about why comic book movies are so popular, Chris Nolan's The Dark Knight is always ousted as the main reason. But is that true and fair on Raimi and Singer? As previously mentioned, Spider-Man and X-Men were the first to be released after the 90s killed the genre, but the movies got people discussing about superheroes again. Not only did they have fan support, but the critics enjoyed the movies too, and more importantly for the studios, the films made a ton of money. However, these films were the prototype of what a great comic book movie could be. Enter the second films in their franchise, Spider-Man 2 and X-Men 2, both vastly improving on the previous films. This gave more credibility to the genre, and with this came the idea of more comic book movies. Enter Batman Begins, Chris Nolan's first Batman installment.
I'm Batman.
The film changed the dynamic of a comic book movie, with its darker and realistic tone, but this was also a stepping stone to an even greater film. What came next from the Spider-Man and X-Men franchise were the worst movies in the series. Spider-Man 3 and X-Men 3 both failed to live with the expectations and failed to deliver a coherent story. All the hard work was put down the drain, and the attention focused on Chris Nolan's upcoming movie, The Dark Knight.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
The movie came out in 2008, a year that changed cinema forever. This was a turning point of where cinema would go. With the release of Iron Man and The Dark Knight, the comic book genre blew up, and because of those movies we have the MCU and DCEU for better or worse. Both films garnered critical and financial success. Iron Man made over $500 million and The Dark Knight made over $1 billion at the box office, the first time a comic book movie had earned $1 billion. Both films made big strides forward for the comic book genre, but The Dark Knight is still considered the best and the film that brought the genre back from the dead. Here's why. We all remember the great movie villains, from Hannibal Lecter to Kaiser Soze, and the Joker is one that will stay with us for generations. There have been 4 on-screen versions of the Joker, so why do we gravitate to Heath Ledger's Joker the most? Compared to Cesar Romero's watered-down version, Jack Nicholson's gangster version, and Jared Leto's pimp version, Heath Ledger's version was a real interpretation to his make-up face and scary morals. The Dark Knight's Joker was a danger. He brought fear to the city of Gotham. When he speaks, the whole city stops and listens. Compared to the Iron Man villain, Obadiah Stane, all he wants is sending weapons 1,000 miles away from where the film takes place. This takes away the fear in the movie, and the stakes are not there. In the end, Iron Man faces Obadiah, who is also in an Iron Man type suit. We know Iron Man will survive because the film is all about Iron Man, but in The Dark Knight, the Joker puts civilians at risk. Coleman Reese, the Batman impersonator, the news reporter, a hospital, a boat full of people, and Harvey Dent. In those moments, we don't know who will survive, and most of them do not. Harvey dies, the Batman impersonator dies, Rachel dies, many cops die. These deaths affect Batman and pushes him to almost quit as Batman, and in the end he does, becoming the villain for Gotham.
I killed those people. That's what I can be.
No, you can't. You're not.
I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
The situations the Joker puts Batman and the civilians of Gotham are not only difficult for them, but for us too. Every time a big decision is made, we also make that decision. Would we give up as Batman to save the innocent? Would we kill Coleman Reese to save a hospital? And would we blow up the other boat? The scenarios they are put in are there to tempt us to go bad. This is where the Joker skews morality. He wants to prove we are all like him. We are all selfish and would do the bad things for selfish reasons. This is where the Joker is different from other villains. He pushes us to his side. He's not just black and white. He's not just evil. He's a man that is testing our morality.
See, their morals, their code,
Other villains are there to be evil, with no other meaning to their character. They want to take over Earth or destroy the whole planet. But the Joker doesn't care for that. All he wants is to show us how bad we really are, and that's scary. We all want to be good, and when it comes down to it, we are just one bad day away from going mad.
See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
The morality of men is a big theme in The Dark Knight. Good and bad are skewed to the point where our characters cross the line. Batman and Harvey both fight for justice, and both do in completely opposite ways. Batman uses brute force to take down the bad guys, while Harvey uses legal actions, but both cross a line from good to bad. Batman's brute nature is unjust and can be considered a bad act. Violent actions against someone is what Batman tries to stop, but he uses that for his own gain. Morally, it is not right to use such violence, but Batman does, and does it with good intentions. However, does that justify such actions? With Harvey, he uses the legal route, but when he wants to know the Joker's next plan, Harvey uses illegal actions to get some answers, a sign that even the good are corrupt. Both use the unjust actions for a right cause, but it doesn't justify the means. The Dark Knight asks how far we can go to keep everyone safe. Many have cited the Dark Knight as a parallel to the Bush administrative, who would use rough actions to get information on terrorists and would spy on everyone to keep them safe and track who is and not a threat to America. Even Commissioner Gordon skews the line between good and bad by using Batman to help combat crime and keeping detectives that are corrupt. The film ends with Dent dead on the floor positioned as Jesus on the cross, implying he died for our sins. But it is Batman who truly died that night and who truly took our sins. He took the blame for the killings because it's the fear that the Joker was right. We are all mad like him, and a lie is what is needed to keep Gotham safe. The Joker ultimately wins. He corrupted the White Knight and took away the Dark Knight.
Set the dogs on me.
The impact of The Dark Knight was a huge success, and its presence in cinema is still felt today. The dark and realistic feel to the movie is something that is still being used in today's films. It set a template of what a blockbuster should be, clever and thought-provoking. David Koepp, writer of the first Spider-Man movie, said it's the godfather of this generation. Kevin Feige, the man who runs the MCU, praises The Dark Knight for showing audiences how diverse comic book movies can be. The Dark Knight's success didn't stop at the box office. It was the first comic book movie to win an Oscar for Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. And with 8 years on, the movie has that special ingredient of never feeling old. With Spider-Man and X-Men, those movies feel outdated, and with the whole MCU, Iron Man feels thin and simple. But The Dark Knight can be rewatched and rewatched again, because there is always something new to find. The Dark Knight brought films to a lot of people's lives. Personally, this was the first time I ever appreciated and loved the film. That's the same with so many other people too. It wasn't because it was just Batman, it was the story, characters, and the look of the film. With the influx of comic movies, The Dark Knight still feels fresh and new because of the risk and boldness they took to make this a cinematic masterpiece. The Dark Knight is classed as a modern classic because the story is a reflection of today. It changed the way we saw comic book movies and how they can be told. We didn't need huge explosions for a death-defying battle in the end. It was personal compared to other superhero movies. With shocking twists, with Rachel dying and having the story take control, it became a film. Not a genre-specific movie, but just a great film. That is why The Dark Knight is important.